Little Caesars changed the game, bro.
They did.
Little Caesars changed. That's the most shot of shit I've ever seen.
Hey, Chewy, blood. They want you on the podcast, bro. Look, he Mexican, bro. You gotta put him on.
Am I interrupting your depression? I'm sorry.
This week's episode of The Voice Party is brought to you by Big Boy Wraps. Get your car wrapped by some of the most experienced and skilled in the Bay. Big Boy Wraps, where the big boys play.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Voice Party Podcast. That's the name, right?
That is
the name. Okay, yeah. This is JD here. I'm sitting next to Joaquin. How you doing, Joaquin?
I hate you so much.
First of all,
Marcos.
Are you serious about that?
Well, I thought you were joking.
We're all sleeping.
I'm getting old. It's been
a long day.
Yeah, it has been
It's
a
all
long
good.
day.
My name is actually Marcos.
Marcos.
I'm Marcos now.
Marcos.
Joaquin.
How you doing? You having a good day?
I'm doing great. My pants are tight and feeling good.
And then we got Black Joaquin here. What's up, Black Joaquin?
Man,
How you doing, bro?
I'm okay.
You holding up? That caffeine pill still kicking in?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
cool. All right. And then we got
I know-
we need to keep some here.
No, we definitely do.
Just in case.
we got Corday in bright colors today. How you doing,
know,
bro?
You already know it, man. I love it.
Hell
man.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's like when you scoop up all the vanilla ice cream or the Neapolitan ice cream. That's what you look like right
You
now.
got the little extra remnants. Yeah. But it's
like
more
a
like
giant
chocolate with like with
chocolate,
some
strawberry,
some
and
chocolate
some
and
slush.
strawberry.
And we got Phil. What's up, Phil? How you doing?
What up, Whitey?
Oh my God! Once again, we got a very special guest here today.
sir. Yes, sir.
Very special guest. Very excited. The one, the only Oliver Graves. Woo!
Thank you. Wow. Okay. Didn't expect applause.
One more time.
Thank you for coming all this way. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a drive. I'm looking forward to like it was hot. I'm like getting my lipstick out and it's melting. I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Goths in the summer. It was.
Oh yeah.
Goths in the summer. It's coming up, man.
How
How do you
know?
How do you cool down as a goth in the hot weather?
I do the kangaroo trick where I'll wash my hands a lot because they lick their forearms.
Oh, that's true.
And yeah. So I wash my and I get the water on my forearm. That's how you do it.
No,
cool
like,
your
I
body
actually wanted to know this exact same question because I know a lot of goths in high school and in college, and I always wondered, like, does the makeup run and stuff like that? Kind of a.
How often are you reapplying?
My lips will run because I get cheap lipstick, but
Gotcha.
the eyes are full of cancer-inducing chemicals. That'll stay. Like, that's dollar store makeup. That's not going anywhere.
That's Spirit Halloween quality, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work at a Spirit Halloween.
Oh,
I did a couple seasons at one. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
did they think you was just in full costume all the time or what?
Oh, you can wear costumes there. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You can wear costumes.
And it's part of the season, so no one questions it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to wait till the 30th or 31st.
Okay,
Like
gotcha.
you can just the whole time.
Do you go to the interview in full gear?
I didn't for the second one. 'Cause it was so at that point, I was like, I think they might remember me. So
Yeah.
just in case it was a different manager, I was like, I better not. It was the same manager though. She rehired me for that season.
How many seasons did you say you did?
Well, they call it season because you don't work there for a full year because it's like
August to
like
Halloween.
November, whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Same location?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same location. Yeah.
Did you work at like a Hot Topic also? Was that
No, I never worked on a Hot Topic.
Okay.
No. It's the same company. No, maybe it's not. It's the same company as Spencer's Gifts. I don't know.
Spencer's,
I don't know if it's the same company as Hot Topic, but Spencer's Gifts makes more money with Spirit Halloween's being open for like the 3 months than they do at Spencer's Gifts that are open year round.
gosh.
I was wondering about that because I was like, I see so many people go to Spencer's, but you don't buy.
No, you don't buy it. You go
buy
there to waste
anything.
time in between other stuff, waiting
Yeah.
for someone else.
Yeah.
No one needs 8 lava
Anything.
lamps. Like
No.
that's
where you
No
meet,
one needs a lava lamp.
That's where you
Right.
meet your Coke dealer.
Yeah.
right.
Speaking of Spencer's.
Maybe you get a couple of fandom
Have you seen the
shirts?
video at Spencer's? There's like a sign that says "Scream for boobies," and the dude just
Yeah.
screams out. They're like, "Dude, don't do that."
And plus, they're like in malls, which are like they're a dying breed of like. place.
Yeah.
It's like a gag gift place too. Like there's
Right.
only so much that you really would go there for.
Right. And, like, do you like also like they sell dildos and stuff?
Yeah.
Are they safe enough to use, or are they so
Are those
cheap that
good
I
quality?
I'd want to know their return policy.
Exactly.
Before you buy one.
Yeah, if they accept
Yeah,
returns, I'm like,
yeah.
no, thank you. Like, no, thank you.
They're like, these are our finest used ones.
Yeah.
They have like a Carfax for dildos. Speaking of that, have you
Used a
very
dildo
public no very public persona, have you ever like been has it ever crossed like
Spit it out.
no like a Spirit sponsoring you or Spencer's
No,
or Hot Topic?
no,
Would you be
no.
open to that?
I mean, would I do like a commercial or something? Sure.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah. They're not knocking on my door, you know. Like, it's not like I'm like in demand, you know. It's like I have this like viral notoriety, but like that's kind of like where I've plateaued, you know.
Let's talk about that because that definitely changed your life.
Oh yeah, I probably wouldn't be here right now if not
You
for that.
would.
Well, I haven't looked at who you've had, so maybe that's true. But like,
Let's go with the first assumption. shall we?
No, but like, talk to me about like how that happened, like how you got there, and I mean, it definitely had an impact. You had an impact on the people there. You know, they said a lot of great compliments.
Where's
about
there, Jake?
America's Got Talent.
You didn't mention it.
Sorry
that's
about
why.
that.
Yeah.
where do you want to start?
I was gonna say,
that-
start from the.
in
When did
that
you start
journey?
comedy, and how did you get to like
That's-
getting
yeah.
the confidence to get to AGT, and then how that?
Oh
story
well,
unfolded?
I'll do the confidence one now. I never had that.
Okay. Okay.
I wasn't sure about that at all. So comedy was always an up and down thing. I never really wanted to do it, and you know, friends in high school were like, "You should do it. You should do it." I think I did like a talent show. I can't remember what it was, but like I guess a talent show in high school, and I did one-liners then. And I stuck with writing one-liners, but I didn't stick with performing. So like MySpace was a thing I did a lot in high school, and I wrote like one-liners for that. And that's a hard, different metric to measure, where people talk about like Twitter and Instagram and views. Like they didn't do the thing now where it's like they make people who aren't connected to you see stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was connected to a lot of people, but it was also like that mutual thing of you had to be friends with each other.
Right.
So if I had 1,000 friends, it was 1,000, you know, whatever.
We're connected already.
Yeah, and I wasn't Tila Tequila level or whoever that was.
Yeah.
big,
Right,
I wasn't.
right.
I wasn't Tom or I wasn't whoever. But I had a fair amount of people that I constantly were friends, because there was a lot of, you know, people in the emo scene, the goth scene, the alternative scene, and I was like, well, these are all cute girls too. I want to be friends with you. You know. And I still wrote jokes and put them on, like jokes, but like it was just thoughts. Like they weren't always
Right.
necessarily jokes. Some were just philosophical things, like positions
It
on
wasn't
things.
bits yet.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I hadn't put it. Although it's funny because I went back to some of them. Like, well, that's a joke. That's a joke.
Right.
And then when I was like, I should really do this more, started going to SF in Oakland and open mics, really grinding it out and being aware of being a comedian, not just a guy writing. That was like 2013.
Right.
So America's Got Talent came along the end of 2017. I started having conversations with them in that December, because they're like, hey, we're going to be in San Jose. We want to make sure comedians are aware of this. And I started talking with someone, yeah, I'm a comedian. What's the process like? What's this like? And she starts communicating with me. Her name's Nyla. She's like, yeah, we want you there, but like, please don't, you know, flake on this, or like think this is a joke or whatever. Like, this is a real thing. Here's all the information. Like, please show up, please do it. So that was the first step, was doing that. And I think that was January 2018, driving to San Jose for the open call. And they knew I was coming because I'd submitted beforehand, and someone specifically wanted to see me. They had like multiple rooms where you'd go in and, you know, the kids would dance or whatever. Or the guy would
do like your
his,
pre-auditions.
yeah, the Howie and Simon weren't there.
Right.
Like, it wasn't for TV, but they had cameras because they wanted records of it. But I kept being like bumped off, because there was this one room that's like this, we want to send you into this one. That's where like one of the handlers or production assistants is saying like, yeah, someone specifically wants to see you. So I was like, that's probably a good sign that they're not just like, yeah, get him in that room and then get him out of here.
Right.
Versus that's kind of what they were doing, like the marching band or the dog, or I don't know what they had. They had, you know, hundreds of people, hundreds of acts, thousands of people that were all getting rotated. And eventually, yeah, I go in and you do a 90-second set, and did it for her. She interviews me a little bit. She's like, So you're gonna, move forward in this process, and like here's some things you need to be aware of, blah blah blah, and then you go to another secret location there, and in San Jose in front of 4 producers instead of 1.
Okay.
And did it for them. One guy actually laughed out loud. The rest of them are just like, yeah.
He's got it.
They're probably professional comedians themselves or something.
Or they've seen it all. They've been there all day. Like you don't even know what's in their head.
Right.
But the one dude laughed, and one dude was like, "All right, like a gothic Stephen Wright." Okay. And I was like, "Okay." Like that's kind of a good sign if this dude's is aware of comedians at least. Like because they're all probably looking for singers and the things that blow up on the show.
Not a lot of comedians at that time either, right?
They were starting to do more and more post Preacher Lawson.
Okay.
Which is someone I looked up before even like going to San Jose. I was like, how do comedians do it? Because I had no idea. I knew about Tom Cotter like way back.
Yeah, and Sammy Obeid had done it too, right at that point.
Right, which we all know him because he's like local to us. And there's been a bunch of people that had appearances, had jokes and stuff, but Preacher was one that went far. Tom Cotter was one that went far. It's like, so is there even really a chance?
Right.
I was like, otherwise, what are they just going to make fun of me?
Right.
I was like, I bet they're going to make fun of me. I'm like, but maybe I should do it anyway to be made fun of.
Yeah.
Right.
Because why not?
Take the hit.
Yeah. So you don't know anything that day. You go home, San Jose, and then they gave me a call like a month later. They're like, so we need your availability in the spring to bring you to Pasadena. Like you're going to be on TV and all that. And it's like, wow, it blows you away. Then you get there like, yeah, so here's how it really works. Not everyone airs.
Oh,
Not like just because you get 3 yeses, like you sign this contract, just because you get 4 yeses, it doesn't mean you get used. It doesn't mean you move forward. So I'm like, so nothing matters because they air people that are duds. Like they'll air you if you got 4 no's.
Right.
So it's like the whole idea is like wasn't really moving forward for me. It was, am I going to be on TV?
Right.
I was like, well, there's no guarantee of this. There's no no rhyme or reason to any of it. I'm like, so who knows? Who cares?
Let's just do well, basically.
Or do badly because they put people on that do badly too.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, I'll take 90 seconds of them making fun of me. Like if that's what I'm going to get, like fine, Yeah. But then I'm in the dark for another 6 weeks. Maybe 8 weeks or whatever. I'm like, no one's talking to me anymore. Like no producer, no emails, no phone calls. I'm just like, because I'd done all the filming and everything and taping because I did the 2, which I wasn't allowed to tell people I did 2. I was allowed to tell people I did the 1, but I didn't tell anyone I did the 1 even. I was like, no, I'm going to keep that to myself because I didn't know how it was going to come out. I knew I was not moving forward. Yeah. Because at that time the show's format was you had to move forward twice. Now they've eliminated the round that I got eliminated in. They don't even do that anymore. You just basically move. Yeah, you basically just move forward now. So I was just like, I don't think they're going to air me because why would they? They have all these other acts. They have 36 other acts to be like, these are really important. You got to vote for them, America. I'm like, no one could ever or would ever vote for me. I never made that far. So then eventually it airs, and it's like the 7-minute long segment. No one told me.
Oh, they just
aired it. I got to watch a stream of it at like 5:40 West Coast time. So while it was like happening live on the East Coast, I knew what was happening. I'm like, oh my God, I was the end of the hour segment because it's a 2-hour show. Right. So like they end it like with something really big at the very end, but I was like the end of that first half, and it like builds to me. I'm like, why did no one tell me?
Right.
So you weren't aware, like, hey, everybody gather up. We're gonna.
So
I thought I might have gotten a joke. Yeah, because there's other people in my segment that got a joke.
Yeah.
Right.
And your segment was a huge thing. Like it was. You said it was 7 minutes total.
Something from like beginning to end, where like you watch me like creeping around, walking around. I talk to the camera.
Yeah. I was watching it earlier this morning,
and they have like the creepy music, and then I walk out on stage, and then there's like a minute of them making fun of me. Then I do my bit, and like then all the things. It's about 7 minutes long.
7 minutes,
Yeah, so like there's other cuts and edits of it where it's like they don't show that intro of me like sitting talking about comedy, which I talk that guy's ear off. Because I had a very strong sense that I was there to be made fun of.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want them to know I'm serious about this. That I write jokes and I want to get somewhere, and I know what I am, how I do it. I know I'm dry. I know I'm meta, alternative, all this stuff. I didn't want them to think that I'm like, whatever, like I'm just a comedian. I'm trying to make it like, I'm like, no, it's different. It's a different angle. And I also then realized through the process of filming all that they had other people there that were like working comedians.
Yeah.
Right.
That were like, oh, like she works the club circuit up and down the Midwest. I was like,
Right.
oh, I paid my own way to perform at a club in the Midwest. Like, you know, like,
Yeah,
well, I'm like,
yeah.
we're not the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, how do I get that across? I'd already filmed so much stuff before I met other acts.
Right.
And started realizing, like, oh, I am probably a dud.
So the stuff you filmed with that day with Howie and Simon and
Like the panel.
yeah, you didn't think that was gonna make it to the TV?
No, because I was eliminated from the second appearance that no one knew about at that time. Because I did a second appearance where we filmed at Universal Studios, which is amazing to be able to say I've done that. I filmed a TV show at Universal Studios.
Right.
awesome.
Right.
Like that, yeah, that feels so cool. But like that, I got eliminated there.
Oh.
So the first
So you've
filming,
gone through the process.
I
of
was done.
Shooting.
I was done. Yeah.
Got you.
So and I wasn't hearing anything from them because I knew I was eliminated.
Right.
So that first thing where it's like I'm blowing it all up and everything, and it's like you're getting the 4 yeses, but I still knew I'm like, I have to keep moving forward or none of this matters.
Right.
And then I didn't keep moving forward, and then I was like, they probably won't use that.
Right.
Or Tyra Banks is hugging me. I'm like, that'll probably never be seen.
Right.
Because why would they show that?
Right. Right.
I was dead and gone.
Right.
After that aired, how did your career in comedy change? Like, were you getting more phone calls? Were your social media blow up?
Well, for the 3 weeks before everyone knew I was eliminated, that was the best and worst time of my life.
Okay.
When the first episode aired before the second episode aired.
Okay.
Because everyone's like, oh my God, here we go.
Right.
Like at Hometown Hero, like he's going to do so well. Like this is it. And I knew I was not moving forward. Yeah, it was
Right.
done. I was like, wait 3 weeks. Wait 3 weeks.
You're dying inside, like fuck. Like
Yeah.
you guys don't.
And
even
people
know.
were trying to find out. And I remember I said to a comedian, I was like, well, try to book me. See if I'm free. And like in the time of when the live shows were going to be happening,
Right.
And I just said no to the gig anyway for like for like other reasons. But everyone still that made it that like hyped it like, oh, he's going to be on the live shows. He's going to be in LA for that week. That's why he can't do that show. I was like, no, I just didn't feel like doing it. That's fine.
You heard it here first on the Voice Party.
That's hilarious.
I just was stressed out about too many things to
Right,
worry about.
right,
Like
for
it had nothing to do with the gig, or it just was like I was being pulled in so many directions. Like it was not any other reason than that. Like,
But so the audition goes viral.
right.
You get that. People see it. Are brands hitting you up? Are companies or whatever studios
TV
hitting you up and
shows.
saying, "Hey,
Are you getting booked?
Yeah,
more?
so I had multiple
Comedy
management
management.
conversation, agencies, and one of them, she was so like kind of like she was tiptoeing around it, but I knew what she meant. Like, if you don't move forward, basically, I don't want you.
right,
So I stopped talking to her because I was like, well, you don't want me.
yeah,
But that's the conversation was going. Like, we'll see how you do in judge cuts, which was the second round. I was like, okay, so you're not going to sign me, basically. Like, you could just say that. You could just say,
Right.
But she knew I wasn't allowed to answer that question, and she knew she didn't know the answer to that question because if I did move forward, she did want me. But that didn't happen. So, but it was stuff like that where I had a conversation with people at Gersh,
yeah,
didn't go anywhere.
right. That's kind of the rough part of like the business, learning why people want you. They don't, do they actually believe in you? Do they not believe in you? Like, or are you there?
Yeah, and I almost don't.
pass
It's
ticket?
changed so much where I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like I get them. Like, yeah, if I was gonna be moving forward, getting more and more promotion, of course you would sign me.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then this weird thing happens where the show ends, and the millions of views on YouTube was cool. Then they release everything on Facebook, and then 2 weeks after the show's over, the Facebook video goes viral that October.
Right.
That's where I found. Yeah, that's where I found the
Yeah.
video.
That's
And that's when not only was I dead and gone, the whole season was done.
Right. Right.
Like people thought I won.
Wow.
Like 'cause,
Yeah.
like they didn't understand that the show was over and this was one clip
Yeah.
Right.
of a section of it, and it's like, no, I can't move forward. Not only did I get eliminated, the show isn't even airing anymore. You're just watching a clip from, and it's like I'm done explaining that to people now. Where I'm like, because before they deleted that clip, it was like 70 or 80 million views.
I remember. Yeah. It was
Wait,
a
they
newsroom.
deleted the
They
clip?
deleted it.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. They don't talk to me. They don't tell me anything. I just found today, before I was because I was looking at social media, someone was telling me, oh, I found you in this clip. And I was like, what? And it's top 10 most awkward acts on AGT, and they uploaded it 7 months ago. No one told me,
Yeah.
and I'm in it.
That sounds like a Mojo video.
I mean, it's just people are.
Video Mojo.
It's got like 1 million views, and like no one's
Right.
like, how am I? It says Oliver Graves, so it's at least they said my name, which they don't
Right.
say in like some of these other clips, like Snapchat and stuff.
So when I found the video, and then I shortly, after that, discovered that you were from
Like a local Bay Area
Bay Area
yeah.
comic, and I was in I was booking a show, and I was like, for shits and giggles, let me see if he responds.
Right.
I'd love to have him in my show. And when you responded, I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. He responded. I was blown away because I liked the video. I was like, it was, as a young comic, it was like inspiring. And when I finally, when I got you down here, one of my cousins just got out of prison, and he said that they were cheering for you. Everyone in the cell block watched the season, like
Because they knew I was coming back, and they
Yeah.
got to see the second episode.
Right.
Because if you actually follow and watch the show, it had this whole format.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
that when this is what he told me. When we got emotional in that scene, the all the homeboys were like in the prison cell block. Yeah.
So it's wild. I mean,
It's like a scene in a movie, like a movie about your life. It's like you've got all those people
it
cheering for
didn't
you.
feel real. I really didn't, because I thought they hated comedy that night too, because I talk about this sometimes, where Alex Hooper was there, and he was the only gauge I had. They had other comedians, but I wasn't able to see them. But I was backstage because they kind of keep you on reserve in case some kid starts crying or something, or a dog throws up. I don't know why, because comedians can be thrown on stage easily. So they kind of kept us around. Like Alex and I were both kind of kept around for those reasons. Like if something's stalling or mix it up, or just they're playing the game. Like all these producers are like, who might they like next? Like they're like chess pieces. Like we'll put in a bishop,
Keep you
put in
on your toes somewhat,
the
right?
judges get bored or whatever because Scary Spice is coming down from whatever Molly she was on or something. That was my second appearance where that happened. The taping was too long.
shoot.
Oh, they tried to get me out earlier, and she would have liked me better if I went on earlier, because she was just over it. Like I was like, okay.
Are you there all day too with them? Like,
That was 10 a.m. to midnight-ish.
that's a fucking day.
Yeah.
That's
They have adults that they can be there as long as they can. So yeah, that's where I met Alex Hooper, and he was there, and he's wearing the spandex that he was wearing out, because he's wearing like red and blue. And got to meet some other people, because they can't film the kids that long. They love to do that stuff. They loved it's a kids show.
Right.
It's like I had to be family friendly, but they can't film the kids until they get there, and then they have to leave earlier. So it's like they just kind of have these like other acts lingering around, where I'm like, I know you're not going to do anything with me because it's like 2 p.m. and all the kids just showed up, and they have to leave at like 10, because you only get like 8 hours with the kids, and they have to like make them leave for an hour to go to like school or something. I don't know, the union, all these things.
child labor laws.
Yeah, so you can't make them be there that long. So they get like an hour of school or an hour of lunch and all this stuff. So it's like they get like 6 hours of filming with them out of an 8-hour time period.
Right.
Or something like that. But I knew, I'm like, okay, well now that's the focus. There's all these dancers, these singers. I'm like, us comedians just lingered around, and yeah, all day. No one told me my lip was cracked when I met Tyra Banks. I'm like, thanks. Might have been cool to know that there was just a fat split right there. I got to fix it before I walked out for the set I did, but I was like, yeah, all right, like neat.
Right.
So
How thoughtful.
I thought you got invited back way after for something. Was that? Am I wrong about that?
I did do a third appearance.
Okay.
At the end of the season, where they flew me back to film it, because they had Yumbo Dump, who was already there. They had Hans, who was already there, because all these people got eliminated, and like, we're gonna film a little extra thing. And they found out I'm not that expensive to get back, because it was just a whatever cheap flight to LA. Like, well, we'll fly you back to film a little thing. And they interviewed like, how has America's Got Talent changed your life? And they made up this like little skit thing that I did, where I'm like, I have my own makeup line. Like, I'm hugely successful now, and I kind of wish I didn't do that with them, because I'm like, well, now people think I'm successful. Like, they just think that's real. I don't have my own makeup line. Like,
He probably won't.
They
be-
just like they just blatantly made up something.
well, right, but they did that like as a joke for all these other acts. So I'm in a segment.
Oh, okay.
All these jokes. I'm like, mine seems real. Like, wait a minute. Like,
Right.
mine's not as much of a joke. Yeah.
Right.
And like other people like in the boardroom are like wearing my makeup. Like, yeah. Just thinking like, okay, like I get the joke, but
Right.
Thank you for the free flight back to LA, I guess, you know.
So that was the third time back, and it was just that. But
Yeah.
You did mention. I don't know why it was that. I could have sworn that you got to go. You didn't get to go back on stage at all for that third one.
No, that was all just filming and stuff. But it aired on TV.
Yeah.
So it's a third appeence on
Right.
TV, technically, I guess.
And now they just haven't reached out to you whatsoever for anything in the future, like.
Sort of. I mean, I talked with the casting person about it, and basically, I don't do anything different. Mm-hmm. So if I brought something else, maybe I could go back on. I'm like, well, this is pretty much what I do. Is one-liners. I'm dry. Like I kind of gave you what I have.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I'm not gonna set myself on fire. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Like I could see myself doing parodies of these things. Like if I tried to come up with something for the show, like getting a puppet out, but I'm like, I don't know if in my soul and my heart I want to do that.
It's like dancing. Like you're dancing for.
Well, it's like imagine it goes well.
Yeah.
Then I gotta do that.
That's all your stuff.
Yeah. Then I have to bring that puppet everywhere I go.
Right.
Like then I gotta do kids parties and stuff. Like forget it. I don't want. I want to do what I do.
Imagine it does well. They bring back like, what have you been doing with your life? I've been doing kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, I'm a ventriloquist.
I become a producer at Jim Henson Studios.
Yeah. Hey, that would be.
That would be cool. Yeah.
He's like, maybe I should.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, the puppet. Well, that's where my brain has gone. Is like, what could I do to try to get back on the show? I'm like, I don't want to try to get back on doing something just to do the show.
Right. Have you tried to get to other like Last Comic Standing?
Yeah.
Like that?
Well, that's no longer a thing. So I've submitted to some things here and there. I got a conversation with someone for a show that has already gone. They didn't tell me what show it was, but I have a very strong suspicion it was called The World's Best. And I think RuPaul was a judge, and Drew Barrymore and someone else who is probably way more famous than me, and I should remember them. But anyway, I submitted back and forth with them, and they were interested, but it looked like when that show aired, they didn't have comedians on it at all. So something happened, and they're just like, nah, we're not going to do that. And
like as far as right now, how has it been for you for gigs now since America's Got Talent?
Well, it gets me a foot in the door. It's like being a comedian. You're like,
right?
Can I do some comedy for you?
Banging on every
and
door.
yes, usually they don't even open the door.
Well, you're instantly recognizable now.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I don't know if that's entirely true, but like, because I'm still not really getting the work I would like to be getting. It's like I'm getting a foot in the door, but they're still slamming my foot, and they're like, no, get out of here. Like,
right.
So like, there's some people are polite enough to tell me no now, rather than just ignore me. Like, I don't know if in anticipation of maybe,
But you do get like some gigs here and there from.
I get substantial stuff every now and then. Like for the most part, I'm just a Bay Area bar show comedian.
Right. Yeah,
but I mean, I think it's because out here it is kind of like people are over it. They don't really care. Whereas when I went to Arizona a couple weeks ago, like, oh my god, no one had seen me because I'd never been to Arizona. So that was a big deal.
You'd have a great crowd at San Quentin.
Oh, San Quentin. Okay.
We could probably make that happen.
That's where they were watching you.
Oh, that's why they're rooting you on. That's where your
Wow,
fans are.
yeah.
That's why.
There's probably people that are still there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they've been watching
Ain't going
year
nowhere.
after year.
It is San Quentin. So
You said you had
they're going anywhere.
You said you had a story about the show you did for me in Richmond.
Oh, because I still tell people about this what happened. I mean, I don't like to bash cities. I don't know if I want to mention the city because I don't know who watches this and listens. I don't want people to have bad impressions of places that I actually had good times in.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm like, where the city is.
Yeah.
We can tell everyone afterwards, but out on the internet, like they don't need to know.
Okay.
But you kind of had my back because like I don't remember how far I parked, but like you want me to walk you to your car. You offered to walk me to my car, and I was like, no, that's okay. You don't have to. You're like, I'll walk with you.
Sounds like JD, all right.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, because I didn't know where I was. It's like I had never been there. I didn't know the neighborhood. I was like, okay, and we walked to my car, and I'm like, whatever, putting stuff away, and we're talking, we're bullshitting, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was really close to a corner, and I saw a guy because you were facing me, but like behind you, I saw this guy poke out, took one look at me, turned around, and walked away. And I told you about it, and I was like, oh yeah, there's someone creeping around. I was like, yeah, people don't usually mess with me though. I was like, I was like, oh, I think I might have said it. I might not have said this to you, but I might have said it the next time I saw you. It's like, should I walk you back to the venue? Like, do you need like an escort? But
I remember that now. You mentioned that.
but that guy had nowhere to go. Like he was, he was just wandering around.
Well, I mean,
He's like, is that the crow?
retreat.
Remember, sometimes the predators are more afraid of us than we are of them.
that's a known thing.
That's that's like a spider thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Spiders and cougars.
But you do have a following on social media now. Like when I posted that pictures of you that we took from that show.
Oh yeah.
A lot of I don't think I have them anymore, but I remember some, like a lot of goth chicks were like following and asking about when you were gonna be back.
That's news to me. I don't know, like the fall, like so many of them were bots for a while. Like I lost a bunch, but I realized it was bots.
Yeah.
Like from I don't know, Russia, India, or whatever.
right.
You know, and I get those messages. It's funny, like saying they posted that video and I didn't know I was in it. People message me all the time, that spam thing of, hey, is this you?
Right.
Like maybe someone did tell me and I just thought it was spam, and it actually was me.
Yeah.
But they're all over the world. That's the crazy thing about it. Is like because the clip went viral, all this stuff is everywhere. So it's like, they're not like, people book me for these shows sometimes. They're like, oh, you're gonna like sell out tickets? I'm like, no, because people in Australia aren't gonna fly to California to come see me.
Yeah.
Right.
I might have 2 followers in that city. I might sell 2 tickets. I'm like, I think that's more than some comics, but like that's still that's still just the 2 tickets, you know.
Right.
That's very true. Like because like I said, when I reached out to you, in my head I thought you were already doing bigger venues. And
no, I'm not. I'm still not. Like every now and then maybe I will, but for the most part, yeah.
But
I'm
that
not.
kind of messes. I see that it kind of messes a lot of people's careers up, because our local perception, we see, oh, he's out of our reach, but you're still not able to get a lot of these gigs.
I'm not a club comic at all. Like not at all. Like I've done a very, very few clubs, and those were, you know, special things. But for the most part, no, it's still trying to do. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. I think it's called The Entertainer with Neil Hamburger.
You seen that one?
Or not Neil Hamburger, but the man that is Neil Hamburger.
Yeah.
But it's very artsy, so I don't know if I recommend it, but I still very much enjoyed it. But it's him driving up and down like the Central Valley doing bar show gigs. I'm like, oh, that was me.
Oh, the Entertainer is sorry. That was,
You're thinking of something else entirely? Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know if you know Neil Hamburger, but he's the world's worst comedian, and he does a lot of celebrity humor, one-liners, really out there stuff. You know, he'll walk on stage with like 4 drinks in his arm and like spill them on somebody, you know, on purpose. Like it's part of his shtick. Yeah. I think he's great, but it's this movie about that sort of life of working a bar, getting heckled, performing for nobody, not knowing what to do on stage.
Yeah.
And again, it's very like, it's introspective. It's not as funny as it would be for like oh, it's a movie about a comedian. Like hold on. Like it's not the stand up really. Like he does maybe about 5 minutes in the whole movie, like cut up. I think he actually performs at the beginning for a prison or a jail.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Do you? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you find it hard because people think you're bigger than you are in your head, right? Like you're still doing the clubs, or sorry, the bar scene and stuff like that, and people are like, damn, I can't book this guy, he's too big.
I really don't know, and I hope not. Like I mean, I did get an offer a while back, and I said no to it because it was 6 hours of driving, and I was like, this isn't worth it. That's like almost 3 days for me, basically.
Right.
And I said no, but it's like
$100 to go to LA, but you had to drive there or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that.
Sense.
That's something I said to him. It was like, but it's like, man, if they could have met me in the middle from like what I wanted, what they had to offer, I'm like, I would have done it.
Right.
But they didn't come back at me. I'm like,
right.
Okay, I guess I'm not doing that gig. Like, because I don't want to go back to him like, oh, please, I'll do it for less. Like,
Right.
And you still are pretty far from like the Bay Area, just in itself. It's not far, but it's
I'm
kind
an
of a
hour
drive.
north of San Francisco.
Yeah, that's
so. I mean, it's still like it's worth it for gigs when it's far enough away, and it's like.
Is there a scene there where you're at though? Like, there's
a little bit, but I'm definitely like old news in that scene.
Really?
Oh yeah. Wow. Oh yeah, like I mean, people will still book me and everything, but like it's not like cool anymore. It's not like, hey, this is the guy from TV. It's like, yeah, it's the guy from TV. Yeah. Like it's been years.
Yeah. we've known this guy for years.
You don't really ever make it big in your hometown though. Like that's just
Yeah.
And then if you are like, what are you doing so wrong? You know, it's like, what are you doing
Why are you
being
still
so
out here?
big
Right.
in your hometown? And it's a smaller town. It's a smaller area.
Right.
It's not like I'm big in San Jose or like it's a huge, million people. Like no, it's
with comedy club with a comedy.
yeah,
club,
with venues I can actually it's like it's I've been on some really cool, really fun shows, and it's been neat to be a part of those things where it's like stuff that's not comedy, and I always appreciate that. Like that's I feel like going to happen more and more for me though is I'm not necessarily going to be in with comedians and all that, but I will be the comedian on something else.
Do you like that idea better, or no, or do you wish that
There's pros and cons.
Like you mean like opening for a band, like something like that?
Yeah, so Arizona was the goth festival out there. These people, they have a Facebook group, and they started doing. It's the second time they've ever done it, and they were thinking they couldn't get me, which is funny. It's like you got me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that hard.
Right.
You got me there and all that. And
Like my personal number's in my Instagram bio.
it really is. It really seriously is.
You can text me, bro.
I have my
I'm not getting blown
voicemail
up
set
that
up. Yeah. I really don't get that much spam on there. But that was DJs and bands, and they had me go in between the DJs and the bands. So it didn't start great, which is fine. Like that's the way goths
Right.
are. They're not gonna be there on the dot at 7:00.
Right.
So, but it ended up really working out because then I got to like kind of slice my material out in a different way. Where it's like, should I end with the sort of like lighter stuff because it's the end of the night? It's like, nope. You start with that and end with the harder stuff because the night is building and building and building. And that was on and off 3 or 4 times for bands.
Right.
2 bands and 2 DJs that I was on and off for. And it was neat. It was really cool, but it's not the same as doing a 45-minute set.
Right.
Because I did about 45 minutes, chunked out. But I couldn't do some of the stuff I normally would have done because I'm like, I don't get to build momentum. I'm not going to do callbacks. I'm not going to do all this stuff if the people in the room might not have seen those previous sets. I'm like, at one point I realized I probably could do the set I did at 8:00, at 10:00, because the crowd was a completely different crowd. I even mentioned it's like, who's saying? I was like, well, I'm your host, and it's like I'm the first time they've seen the host.
Right. Right.
So, but it was actually a really great and really fun show.
What is the pros of doing this? I can imagine some cons because you're not with other comedians. It's kind of it's a left field thing for some concert goers.
Since it's such a long show, and I was there, I remember around 9 something, people were like, oh my God, did I miss you? I wanted to see you. And I was like, guess what? I'm on again.
Right.
Because they're there to be there for a few hours.
Right.
Like they don't want to have to be there for my, my 30-minute portion of it. So being able to do 30 minutes, 40 minutes across multiple hours meant more people got to see me.
Right.
More people had a chance to see me. If you missed me because you were doing something else at the festival, like, now here's your chance. So that last set I did of the night, when I was telling everyone, you get in there at 9:40, 9:50, that was one where it's like, okay, a lot of people now are in the room for me, not just I'm in between stuff. But that's also a big con of they're not really there for comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was more work. It was more, how do I get them to be acclimated to the fact that now there's jokes while a band is setting up behind me.
Right.
And like, would you say like for a younger comic that's looking to do something like that, how much of an advantage does that give you to try to get past at clubs like Punchline or something?
I have no idea because I'm not past at any club,
Okay,
so
okay.
I wouldn't know anything about that process.
Yeah.
Are you actively trying?
I mean, yes and no.
Yes and no.
I go and hang out at Punch. I saw you at Punch a while back, but like, I don't think that's an avenue for me. I kind of go to hang out and be seen, to be part of, the scene, remind people I exist because I don't really hang in SF that much. It's kind of a hub where everyone comes from east, south, north.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't think I'm what clubs are looking for because I submit to them plenty. So I understand that, and that's okay too. Like, it's not like it's the thing where like they should be booking me and working with me. It's like, no, they have what they need and want to intro. Like, hosting is the sort of the gig you get through that process. I'm like, I hosted a music show. I hosted these variety shows. I'm like, but am I a comedy club host? I'm like, maybe, but are we seeing Emo Phillips do that? Are we seeing Stephen Wright do that? Like, this is the sort of style that I need to look at and go, okay, where did they go? Not that I have to copy them, but like as a guiding line. It's like, well, I'm going to be outside
of your market.
Yeah.
You're an outsider in this thing that we are all.
And that's why I do this. That's why I'm like, another way that comedians really get anywhere. This is I mean, I don't like to shit talk people, but he's dead, so I'm going to shit talk him.
How convenient.
He's famous, and I only met him a few times.
Okay.
But well, Gallagher. I love Gallagher. I think he's really funny. And I think he's really inventive. I think he's a good writer and all that. I did get to meet him a few times.
Oh wow.
But no one liked him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you look at some comedians that sort of got somewhere in the 80s and 90s, is they got to be in a movie.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a big, not like a big part. I'm talking like a bit part. Like it's like, such and such. I got 2 lines in a movie because he was friends with the comedian in the movie.
Right.
And that would happen is people would be like, yeah, he's my friend, or we're filming or something. Get him a role. Gallagher never did that.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't friends with anyone that ever was in it. Like, it's not like George Carlin was like, hey, I'm in this movie. You should be in it, Gallagher.
No.
Nope.
The watermelons was his thing. Like that's what became his thing.
But he's still never that avenue. It's like, it's not like that avenue. It's not like people don't want it. It's not like there's comedians like, I don't want to be in a movie.
Yeah.
No one's saying that.
No.
Right.
But he just wasn't in with comedians to ever have someone go, like Richard Park, like, hey, I'm in this movie. Gallagher, you should have a cameo in my movie.
Yeah.
Why would that be offered to someone you don't like? You offer it to other people that you're working with and you like. And
And every time he got on, like he did the like he got into it with Patrice O'Neal, that one interview. Then he got into it with Mark Maron. So it's like everywhere he went, he would get into it with whoever was helping him out or whatever. Wow.
And not being humble, but it's like he didn't need it too. It's like he was so big, he knew. He's like, I'm doing county fairs for however many thousands of dollars. I'm still getting this and that,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, but dude, you're not breaking into things you could be breaking into.
Yeah.
Oh, have you thought about that? Like
Just breaking into places?
No.
Because I've thought about that.
I mean, like the county fair circuit.
I'd have to be clean, so I don't have 45 minutes of clean material. Yeah. Which, I mean, I can reassess that, but like maybe I have closer to that now, but I still...
Are you interested in that at all?
Or another question was like movies, like being a character that...
Because I think that is something like... I know you probably don't want to hold on to this forever, but saying the scene on AGT before, the look that everyone mostly would like at least recognize you on a poster, especially at the county fair. There's so many people that be like, oh yeah, definitely. Because like
the red and black, the tattered,
how many times like Smash Mouth cannot sell out anything when they're on tour. Like they'll play like if they want to tour like clubs, they can come to the Bay Area and like no one gives a fuck. But if they're playing at the county fair, it will like be 100,000 people just because like
everyone knows it. I mean, I remember watching the Village People at a county fair, and it was the Village People, and it's just like, of course, we all went to go watch it for however long before we corn dogged it up or something,
right. And obviously, there's been, I mean, like you're at the fair, so you get to do a bunch of stuff too. But
I feel like I would have to come up with a Gallagher-esque thing that fills more time and has more
like goth puppets or something,
or just like.
Yeah,
like smashing humans on stage, where it's just like, I don't know, like just a bloody mess. But like then I have to do that, and I've thought about incorporating blood and things like that in my act. Like, but I don't want to really do I don't want that to be the thing I have to do every time.
You like telling jokes.
I've worked with fake blood, and it's awful. Like, it's
what do you mean?
awful.
What do you mean? Like, what did you do with the fake blood?
You got to know everything. Yeah, got to know. I've done various things with fake blood. I've done short movies here and there. I've done a lot of Halloween stuff.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I would not mind doing it. I've thought about writing a script, and I have like ideas, but I've never just sat down and like wrote one, because then it's like, I'm not going to write that and then not do something with it. So if I write a script, like then I'm working really hard to get a budget to get that made.
Yeah.
Well, right now, like we were just talking about this earlier, it's also like the, TikTok, Instagram have helped comics fill up, theaters now because of that. Are you using like TikTok at all to make
I am
skits?
not part of the algorithm at all.
Okay.
There is a certain look of a comedian, and there's a certain voice, and there's a certain style that the algorithm goes, this is comedy, people like this, show them more of that.
Right.
So I am not that in multiple ways. My delivery is not that, so like that's already not on the way I look. Like I should be doing a makeup tutorial or something else. Like it's not like this look is bad and doesn't get blown up on TikTok or Instagram, but it doesn't align with this was funny and people want more funny stuff.
Right.
It's so outside of the sort of AI generated content for people that's like when they should, the next thing, the next reel, the next that. I'm like, I don't really fall into that. And then also I'm not really getting club work to get the good clips to do that anyway. So
That's
true. That's true. Yeah.
So what about doing like are you interested in like skits at all, like with using the gothic theme of?
I mean, maybe, but I've never sat down and done that. It's like, what does that lead to?
Yeah.
Isn't it, it's like what's the ends to this? Like, is it just having fun, or is that also to get something else?
Like to promote a show. Like what is it?
Right. Like I could maybe do that.
I mean, gain your followings, gain a
Yeah, but
separate
then-
following of like of outside of AGT. Yes, you're gonna get the people that like
They
recognize you
but
and
people
stuff.
that like skits then.
Yeah,
they're following me
but
for
those
that
are also the
content.
same people that like comedy, stand-up comedians.
And
you
there
know,
have been TikTok comedians
that are
blowing
selling out
up.
tour like Matt Rife. Sorry, not Matt Rife. What's his name? Trevor Wallace. You know,
Rife too.
Matt Rife. Yeah, but Trevor Wallace. I was thinking more of
more
is
crowd work,
more.
Matt Rife.
Yeah, but Trevor Wallace is
gotcha.
more like skit based
Oh,
on
okay,
YouTube
I
and
see.
stuff. You know, he's kind of like that douchey character, and then he brought it on the road, and that was his stand up. You know, he's selling out theaters. So like doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like just being that. You know.
I would need people to work with too, is another thing,
sure,
and that's
yeah.
not a lot of people I trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of how I want to do things. It's always too many cooks when I start working with comedians. I'm like, I need
Sure.
actors, and then actors, I can't justify not paying them because
Right.
why would I do that to them? So it's like all this budget and stuff. Like, how serious am I about skits and all? It's like I never fought to get into that, to try to get into comedy more and further.
Well, dude, come down here more. We work for free, dude.
I mean,
You want to join his band?
We could
no,
use a
I
gun.
don't want to do that.
Anyway, I didn't even offer that. Wait, what the fuck?
I know. No, what I did want to ask is like protecting your, and I don't know, that's why I asked earlier about the, what we can ask, like protecting your identity.
You can ask things in any way. It's fine. I'm very good at deflecting.
Okay.
Ask all my exes.
Oh, has that
Has
situation
it been-
got
has
better
it-
since the car? Since you trading in your car?
Oh, that situation. I mean, being on AGT helped.
Oh yeah.
That put my interest rates up.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh yeah. I bet.
Sorry, just
No.
side joke.
No, but like you, because whenever you do go on something like that, like I met, like just from what I saw when I posted a picture of you, has it been more important to like protect your identity?
I went back and forth on what all of this is and what it all means.
Yeah.
Like what is, a social media identity? What is that? And it's like funny, like mentioning exes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a breakup and my ex got on me. It's like, doesn't seem like you're upset about this at all. I'm like what makes you say that? It's because I wasn't talking about it on social media. I'm like, because I made a choice to not talk about our breakup on social media.
Right.
Why would I do that? It's a comedy page.
Yeah,
And that lessened actually post COVID, because it's like, the interaction of what to do with social media. I started being more open and honest, not just posting selfies, which I still do, not just trying to make jokes all day, but talking about real life things more and more. So that's been like the last few years of like, what can I say? What shouldn't I say? It's like, I don't want to care anymore. I want to be more myself and who I am, rather than, like there's it needs to be like just stick to jokes, which I had people say to me a lot during COVID, where I was, getting more political, getting more serious.
Yeah.
Just stick to jokes. I'm like, no.
no.
I'm more than jokes.
Right.
That was awkward. Yeah, no, that's the thing that like, because like I rarely, I mean, I don't have like a following nowhere near yours, but like the people that do follow me, that listen to the show, very rare do I sometimes talk about like deep personal stuff, and if I do, I don't list names. I don't,
It's
like
mostly on here too.
mostly on here, and I social media, all they know is flyers and what pictures of the show, and that's that. And for you, like, that's why I'm asking more of like, if I get one day the amount of following you have, like,
It's still not that much though. Like you say that, and it's still very small.
for me it does.
I know,
seem
that's
yeah.
the thing. Like it's
Yeah,
like
but yeah, I see what
can
you're
still,
saying. Yeah.
The grass is always greener. I can always compare myself to other people,
For sure.
other
for sure.
comedians in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Right.
that we know.
Yeah.
people have probably been on this show
For sure.
that have they've grown and they're following from being a comedian, whereas I cheated. I got it from TV.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. because like for example, you know, like we just did that interview with Felipe Esparza, and seeing how quick his audience reacts to that post.
Yeah.
It was cool to see, but it was also like, fuck, you know?
Well, I was gonna say too. Is there any like imposter syndrome? Excuse me. Imposter syndrome when it comes to stuff like that, because you see, like the interview with you, like the interview is good, right? But it's kind of like this like micro viral moment, right? Where you're on TV too and stuff, and it's cool for a second, and then it dies. The hype dies out, and you're like,
what's next?
Was it only good because I dressed like this for TV and they got a good clip of me? This and that.
I 100% think it's because I cried, and I was trying so hard to not cry because I did not want to be the person who cried.
Right.
I wanted my jokes to be what passed or failed. Like that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like I talk about this stuff. It's hard not to cry because like it was so emotional. They cut some of the stuff from TV, but Simon was like 100% spot on, and it spooked me.
What did he say specifically?
Just where he's like, I thought of like when I think of other comedians, they all blur into one type apart from you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like he was on board and knew that this is a different flavor and it's on purpose and it works.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to have them zoom in the camera as I'm crying and all that. Like, it's like, no, I need it to be this. So it's like, if I didn't cry, you can cut the views down to like 90%. It'd be way, way less. Like, I know the platform is big.
So so you crying, do you think it was because you felt like someone understood you?
He saw you.
Oh yeah.
He
I mean,
really saw it.
Howie was blowing me up. I'm like, he was blowing me up in like standard, like you're funny, you know,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But Simon's like, he's seen all this. He's been in. It's like, and he's
Simon don't care for bullshit.
yeah. Oh yeah.
He's one of the hardest people to get on board in general. Yeah.
Right. So for him to well, right before then, this is what I meant to say is right before then, Heidi Klum, not on TV, not in the clips. She goes, I didn't get it,
Yeah.
and she got booed.
Yeah.
The whole audience booed her because she's like, well, I'll still say yes. I do want to see more, but she was not into it.
Right.
So then Simon gets to come back and go, yeah, anyway,
Right.
and just bring it all back that like, this is something else. Like, you know,
Oh yeah, it is definitely a special thing. Like that's what I was gonna ask you is also, you know, like did you receive harsh criticism from people outside of, you know, like did people think that was like a fake crying moment? Did you ever get accused for that?
People think I'm a made up character for AGT.
Okay.
I've had to explain to people that I was doing this for years prior to be like that wasn't my first time.
Right.
Ever there's so many different misconceptions that I've had from that clip, and it's like fake crime. Like if I'm not that smart. Like I'm not gonna claim I'm not smart to know that. Like, and I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like I mean it's embarrassing. Like I don't want to have to, like that's out there forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't go away.
Right. Like you said, they took it down, and I found it this morning.
There's other
immediately.
places that they put it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's got 7 million views.
They've sectioned me off in the top 10 most. I was number 7 for most awkward. Like really, I couldn't be higher on the. No, it's fine.
Was that going back to what you said earlier? That was one of the worst and best times of your life.
The 3 weeks when it aired
because
before
also,
the second episode aired.
Because also like seeing yourself crying, did that on air? Did that?
I mean, I didn't know how to you know reconcile any of the reactions I was getting.
Yeah.
Where people were saying, you know, you made me cry, and I'm just like, I was trying to make you laugh. Like, but also knowing that's like just watch those tears, because I cried back in my hotel room when I got eliminated. Like, and that was not on TV.
Right.
That was just alone.
Right.
In a room.
Yeah.
And I had to wake up to film more stuff for them. Where I was like, can I just go home?
What do they make you film after you get eliminated?
They just didn't want more me
B-roll.
walking around. Yeah, B-roll, me walking around. I think they needed a certain audio recording of something. And there was like this small sliver of a chance that you could be uneliminated and be like wild card.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't happen.
Right.
So Simon was for you. Heidi didn't get it. I'm assuming she was one of the no votes for the elimination.
Well, ultimately, I don't know who voted what when it got to the judge cuts. That's where there's 18 acts, I think, and 7 acts move forward of the 18. And I was there against some tough competition. There was We Three is a band who I think is still around, and they're a really great band. I know they moved forward.
We Three?
Yeah, We Three. There's 3 siblings, and they're a great band, and like they had a great story about what was going on with them. I had a guy from Glee who, I don't want to dump on him or anything, but like, dude, you were on Glee. I had never been on TV before, but they moved him forward. It's like, yeah, okay, because you were on Glee. Like you're a great musician. You're great. Yeah, you plays guitar and everything. I was like, yeah, of course, but also, dang it,
You would think the point of a show like that would be more for people who haven't had that level of experience.
You would think, but it's not, because
Yeah.
they had spooky Sacred Rihanna, the little, I don't want to say what country she was, because I'm not going to get it right, but she won Asia's Got Talent some years before I was on or met her, but she was like established, like a winner internationally. I thought maybe if we bring her spooky stuff and they had me interview her, which they never aired. I'm like, I wish they would air that.
Yeah.
That was so, because she doesn't talk. She's a mute. Like her whole act is like, I don't know, The Ring or something,
related to that.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like really, yeah. And she does all these horror related magic tricks. And I was like, of course, she's like, I could like see when I looked around the rooms, when I was in these rooms, like with all these acts, I'm like, I know who's moving forward. Like I would bet
Right?
so hard. I was wrong about one. I got, the golden buzzer, I was dead wrong, which I didn't know, because Martina McBride that's the episode that a lot of people didn't watch, Martina McBride compliments me, country singer. Weirdest thing that I have as a credit.
Right.
But she gets a chance to make one person go through no matter what. And she picked like an elderly ballroom dancer and this guy who looks like Hugh Jackman. And they got the automatic free pass, the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And basically that ruined my chances of moving forward, because had she golden buzzed someone that was probably going to move forward anyway, that would have freed up a spot. Instead, she golden buzzed someone that was definitely going to get eliminated.
Right.
So she saved them. I'm like, but then they just immediately got eliminated once they actually moved forward. Right. But yeah, just about every single act I picked, I was like, yep, they're going to do the animals. They're going to do this. They're going to do this. They're going to do this. Yeah. They all were moving forward. I was like, the comedians were not on the list.
And you said that one comedian did make it pretty far. If you mentioned his name, but there hasn't been
like Tom Cotter, Preacher Lawson both made it pretty far.
And Kabir got a little bit further, right?
Ryan, I'm going to get his last name wrong. Cripple Threat.
Yeah,
did pretty well. Tom Cotter, I think, came second to a dog.
Would you try to get on again?
Oh my gosh.
Would you try to get on again? Was that something you would do again? Like,
I'd have to do something different. Like I said, we're pitching it. Like,
oh no, actually, would you be interested in doing something different, like a Netflix game show, where like you're still your persona, your one-liners, something like The Circle or something?
I don't know what that is. So
The Circle is like where you, like, it's like a game show where you're trying to eliminate people, but you stay in this apartment solo by yourself, and you just talk through the TV and stuff. But like they film you, 24 hours.
Oh, is that a real thing? That's
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd want to do anything like that. I don't like Big Brother or Survivor.
Okay,
or anything.
something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's really.
Be interested in that.
No, because I don't like. This is the thing about AGT that's kind of like crazy and amazing. Is so since I was eliminated, they could have just not used me, but like somebody somewhere when we were making those episodes with me 100% got my humor, because they didn't cut me down. They left my pauses, they left these intentional drags to sort of like give the reset, to give the tension, to give everything. So someone got my sense of humor in the editing room.
They interpreted your comedy the way
they didn't just do like Bone Hampton, who I met on Judge Cuts. Like he got a joke ahead of me in that first clip.
Yeah.
Where it's like he didn't really get to air.
Wow.
Because he did the whole set twice and they don't really air. That's one thing.
And there's also a reason, aside from the emotional moment you had, that fucking millions of people watched it. Like I watched it and I was like, dude, this is awesome. The views, even for the one I showed you, are still up pretty. They're pretty up there. So there's kind of like this normal amount to get too, because it is.
If you look what
TV
singers
show.
get, they get way more. Like there's a page for like all the Got Talent stuff. Singers Got Talent has like 100 million followers. Then there's dancers got, and then if you get to the comedian one and the pets one, it's the same amount of followers. Yeah. Wow. That's how interested people are in comedy. Is they're as interested in us as they are in dogs and cats and birds. Right. doing little tricks.
What is like what would be your ideal going forward in your career, like that you would want to do? Would you want to be going on, like you said, doing like the goth events, or what would you want to be? Where would you want to be in front of?
I miss headlining quite a bit. Like I miss having 40 minutes of my own stage time and being able to basically control an audience to the point where I'm an emotional manipulator. That's what the job of a comedian is. Right. Is we're taking people on our journey to elicit the reactions we want out of them. So if when you have 45 minutes, you get to do that to the best of your ability. When you're on and off stage, you don't get to do that to the best of your ability. Yeah, it hinders you quite a bit, and it's like I don't know that I really want to do that. It's like, man, would I love to like write and make a movie? Like, yes, but I'm like, I've never done that. It's like, do I want to explore that avenue? Somewhere. I know, like I've done some short films, I've done some very small work, but I'm like, do I want to try to do this all myself? I'm like, there's all kinds of things that's like I'd love. I'm like, I've leaned into comedy because it's the hand I've been dealt. Yeah, it's like playing poker, and I was handed this amazing gift of this viral thing where again, like so many points they could have just not and it never would have been seen, like it could have been a 2-minute thing, you're gonna move forward, but instead it's the biggest moment they could give. And it's like, well, everyone knows me as a comedian, whether I'm a writer, or which I am, I'm actually an award-winning journalist, which is insane. Not kidding. Wow.
What publication, if you don't
I write for the Argus Courier in Petaluma. Oh, and cool. I was just looking for the awards today to see if I got another one, and I didn't. But my editor, I think, did, David Templeton. So shout out to David Templeton for getting an award for himself in the Argus Courier. That's good that the Argus is getting more awards. And they honored me, the California Journalist, a while back for Oliver's World, my own column. Cool. So it's like I still just lean into, like, I was handed the comedian hand, like this is what I have, is I'm a comedian, like, and it beats other things right now because it's like it's so notable that I'm this, like, I'm not going to lean into the journalist thing because people don't know me for that. Like, why would I be like, well, I'm a journalist? Like, no, that's.
Do you still have your own column?
I do still have my own column. I still write for Argus, which is like petaluma360.com. And
check you out.
Yeah, that's still a thing, thanks to David, who got me that gig. So that was in COVID as well, where it's like, he kind of knew I wasn't doing stuff, and you can write at home, you can submit work.
Yeah, you can do that everywhere where you travel.
Yeah, and I love writing. I love to finish more of the short stories and anthology series I'm working on, but like, will the world accept me as a writer? I'm like, it's like, I don't care, but at the same time, like, I know the impossibility of these things, of entering talent and trying to be all of this stuff. Right. And again, I have a comedian card. Like, that's what I was handed.
And it's cool that because comedians, they go into different shit all the time. Movies.
Well, you don't go viral for being a writer.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So it's like, that's kind of the avenue. People always told me, like, you want to write, you want to do this, you have to learn to perform it. That's why my friends always push me. All this stuff you write, you got to do something with it. I'm like, it's written, it's what it's supposed to do right now. You read it, but it's like, no, you have to take it somewhere else. So it's like, you talk about what's the other stuff I should do. It's like, that's like another elevation of the thing that I just always wanted to do, which is write. It's like, I like performing, I like this stuff, but it's like, that was at its core what I wanted.
Right. Sure, a writer.
What is a bucket list thing?
What is a bucket list?
That you have to. Sorry, I paused too long. What is a bucket list thing that you like want to check off?
I don't have anything right now. It's funny because going to Arizona was something I did want to do because I love plants and botany. And I got to see a saguaro cactus in person.
Oh wow,
cool.
So, and they were getting buds, and like, they weren't. I don't think I got to see a bloom. But like, that was something that was really cool, and the guy Jared is taking me around, like, we could get pictures with one. I was like, please, like, it sounds weird, but like, this actually means something to me. That, it's a neat thing that I think is, they live for 70 to 200 years or something. It's an amazing plant, and
like, what I want to tell you is I would like to have you back at another show with a bigger audience next time. It'll be a bigger audience than the one you.
The audience you had for me was absolutely fine.
Okay, well, we can definitely.
I've done less.
We could double. We're gonna double your.
We're gonna double you up though. If you would like to come back, it's a same town, different venue.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk about this after, obviously.
Sure. No, talk about it now. Let's work out all the details.
I want to thank you for coming out and taking
Thank you, man.
time out of your day to and coming all this
Well,
way.
thank you. You guys have a great setup here. This is wonderful.
No, appreciate it. Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much. And earlier on, like I wanted to have you on, but I also saw that you don't really do too many of these interviews.
He was scared to ask you. That's what he's
I am. I'm also.
I hope people are not scared. Like all I can say is no. Like that's the worst thing.
Right.
I am scared to ask.
Everyone ask me, please. Everyone. I have a website for a reason.
Yeah.
For our listeners, before we go, any last messages and where they can find you, your social medias, anything like that?
Oliver Graves IRL for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. OliverGraves.com has links to everything. I have OliverGraves.com. I won a fight for that, which was someone was sitting on it, and I won. So that's cool. I don't know if I have any last things to say. Should I have thought of something poetic to say at the end?
No,
It doesn't matter.
You can say whatever you
You
want.
can say whatever you want.
But have you ever had someone say something poetic at the end?
We've had
someone really
actual
poignant.
we've
lyrics
had
on
something.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's not as
you
cool.
just said you're a writer, so
So I should have prepared something.
no,
is what
you don't
it
have to
is.
prepare.
Yeah.
No. So you could threat somebody, whatever you want to do.
Threaten somebody?
We've had
Threaten
that.
the ghost of Gallagher. Don't haunt me.
That's been the Voice Party.
And we're out. Woo. Thank you.